I got married in 1996. I was 21. So I need to tell you story because then probably I can come to my point. What love does to you is it makes you feel special. It makes you feel elated. And that's the beginning of spirituality.
Yeah.
Remember four things in life. Understand the problem, analyze the problem, try to solve the problem, leave the problem.
All right, welcome to a brand new edition of Incompletely Yours. This is season 2 और मेरा आज का ये जो एपिसोड है ये बहुत खास है. जस्ट लाइक एनी अदर एपिसोड वैसे तो, क्योंकि मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि सामने वाले काउच पे बैठ के अपनी जर्नी, अपनी लाइफ के बारे में बात करना बिल्कुल आसान नहीं है. आई मीन द डे आई सैट ऑन दैट काउच एंड पूजा जी वाज सिटिंग हियर आस्किंग मी क्वेश्चंस, आई रियलाइज कि जब तक मैं सवाल पूछ रही हूँ और दूसरों की जर्नी जान रही हूँ सब आसान है, पर जब आप अपनी जर्नी के बारे में बात करने लगते हो इट डज टेक यू बैक टू दोज डेज एंड इट्स नॉट ईजी. सो हर एक गेस्ट का शुक्रिया और साथ में जुड़ने के लिए शुक्रिया. मेरे साथ आज ऑन दिस काउच इज चरणजीत धीमान, जिन्हें मैं प्यार से सीडी बोलती हूँ एंड आई हैव नोन हिम फॉर अ वेरी लॉन्ग टाइम. और मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि ओवर पास मैनी ईयर्स मैंने शायद ऑन डेज एंड ओकेजन्स इनके साथ अपनी बातें करी हैं, अपनी साइड ऑफ द स्टोरीज, अपनी जर्नी, अपने लोज, अपने हाईज, अपनी हैप्पीनेस शेयर किया. बट देन कम्स अ पॉइंट वेयर आई रियलाइज्ड सीडी आप मेरे साथ इस एपिसोड में क्यों नहीं आते हो, एंड ही इज बीन काइंड इनफ टू बी हियर. सो सीडी, वेलकम टू माय पॉडकास्ट, माय शो, व्हिच इज नाउ योर शो एज वेल. सो थैंक यू आने के लिए.
Thank you so much, Divya. It takes a lot to actually sit on this couch. I now realize it. Being from the media and always being on the backside of the camera, it's really difficult. And I'll try my best that
That we can
I deliver
talk.
a good podcast this time.
हम लोग अभी कॉफ़ी पी रहे थे और उस कॉफ़ी पीते पीते ही इन्होंने दो बातें ऐसी बोल दी कि मैंने कहा रुक जाइए, मुझे कैमरा ऑन करने दीजिए, क्योंकि आई डोंट वांट any of this conversation to go miss because we already had it. CD, of course, is a filmmaker, made some fantastic documentaries, also runs an organization called Anything Will Do, जिसके बारे में बात करेंगे. But CD, this podcast मैंने जब season 1 किया था और मैं किसी को अप्रोच करती थी कि यार divorces, relationships के ऊपर बात करना है, मुझे ये भी श्योरिटी नहीं थी कि कोई हाँ बोलेगा या नहीं बोलेगा, इवन इफ द पीपल न्यू मी. मुझे आज तक किसी ने ना नहीं बोला, विच आई थिंक आई एम वेरी थैंकफुल फॉर. बट व्हाट वाज योर रिएक्शन जब मैंने बोला कि आप इस पॉडकास्ट पे आओगे? डिड यू लाइक थिंक एक सेकंड भी कि अच्छा क्या करना है, शुड आई कम, शुड नॉट कम?
So, like a friend, I would always stand by you. That's the deal. But when I told you that, okay, I'm gonna come, then I had to take a deep breath. I went into my own isolated zone for some time and thought that how it is going to be, because entire thing came in front of me like a kaleidoscope.
Yeah.
So I had to start from day zero, and till today, how the journey has been. And thank you for inviting, because this episode made me think that how fortunate I've been in my journey.
Wow.
So thank you.
No, thank you for coming in here. And जब जर्नी की बात कर ही रहे हैं, so चलते हैं पीछे थोड़ा सा. I've had a lot of people on the couch, okay, अलग अलग एक्सपीरियंसेस के साथ. किसी की एक शादी, किसी की दो शादी, डर अबाउट शादी, एंड देन ऑफ कोर्स लव फॉर लाइफ. गोइंग बैक से ईयर्स अगो, हम लोग जब शादी करते हैं या करनी होती है, द आइडिया ऑफ शादी दैट वी हैड एज अ मैन इन द सोसाइटी कि शादी करनी है, ये चीज़ें होती हैं. एंड देन टुडे व्हेन यू लुक बैक, हाउ इज द डेफिनेशन ऑफ मैरिज इज चेंज फॉर यू?
It's become more practical now, because in my time, I'm old school. I'm 51 now, and I got married in 1996. I was 21. So I need to tell you story because then probably I can come to my point. When I started seeing somebody, and her parents came to know about it, and within no time we got married actually. And when we got married on the day one itself, we realized that, oh, you know what, there are differences. But
Yeah.
anyway, like any old school, I would stand by, and we would carry on. And this marriage of mine carried forward to 19 good years.
Wow, that's a long
19
time.
good years
Yeah.
it took me. So marriage to me was a surprise, was something that just happened to me, because honestly speaking, I was probably not very prepared. I was already in my process of making my career. I was trying to focus on what I was doing, and same time you have somebody next to you, which is your better half, called your wife, and you need to carry forward, you need to carry on life
Yeah.
like this. And now when I look at it, marriage is not just a relationship that converts into a registry of relationships, but it's more than that.
Yes, it is. It is.
So yeah.
So a lot has changed, and आप सही बोल रहे हो, like we are old school in certain ways, और चीज़ों को जिस तरह से सोचा होता है वैसा होता नहीं है, फिर हमारे को लाइफ बहुत सारी चीज़ें सिखाना शुरू करती है. You were fairly young उस टाइम पर, मतलब बट 19 साल बहुत होते हैं यार. बहुत लोग बोलते हैं, मैंने ना सोशल मीडिया पे, एंड यू नो हाउ सोशल मीडिया हैज चेंज्ड द वे पीपल थिंक नाउ. कहने की तो खैर कोई लोगों की अब लगाम ही नहीं है, तो कुछ भी लिख सकते हैं, बट कई बार लोग लिखते हैं इतने लंबे अरसे के बाद शादी की तोड़ दी, लाइक विद लॉट ऑफ सेलिब्रिटीज नाउ कमिंग इन पिक्चर, से ऐश्वर्या, अभिषेक और व्हाटएवर. अब क्या ज़रूरत है अलग होने की, एट्सेट्रा एट्सेट्रा. बट पीपल डोंट रियलाइज कि दो लोग एक रूम के अंदर जो महसूस कर रहे हैं वो कोई तीसरा इंसान कभी समझ ही नहीं सकता है. हैज़ देयर बीन जजमेंट्स या कभी, एंड बिकॉज वी गोइंग बैक पीछे, स्पेशली विद द फर्स्ट मैरिज नॉट हैपनिंग और नॉट बीइंग एज हैप्पी एज वी थॉट इट विल बी, आपको वो फेस करना पड़ा है जब सवाल उठे हैं घर से, फैमिली से, फ्रेंड्स से, सोसाइटी से?
So when one fine day, I decided that I need to speak to my wife, and I made her sit, and I told her that, look, this is not happening. I think we should call it off. I don't know what got into me. I don't know, how I got courage to really speak that much, because I've been a very quiet person. People who know me, they know me for one simple reason, that I'm a very private person. And on top of it, my bonding with my, brother-in-laws, my sister-in-laws, everyone has been great. The kind of wreckages I come from in my life, I got warmth, I got love, I got respect, a lot of respect, from my in-laws. Behind their back, I would like to speak that, this much. And thanks for, I would like to thank them for whatever good time I had. When I decided, when things went to the level that, we couldn't take it anymore, me and my wife, then we decided that, okay, let's call it off. And that was the time when I saw everybody turning back. My own friends, who were common, who became common later, thought that I'm the odd one out. So
Yeah.
I had to face a lot of, darkness because of that. I had to face a lot of time. I went into deep depression for about 4 years. I couldn't pick it. And I'm a kind of person who cannot go to any friend and say, look, I have a problem, I want to talk. It's now that we are celebrating Movembers, and we are talking about depression in men. But there was time when men is supposed to be a Superman, without underwears outside his trousers. But men can't go wrong. Man has to do whatever he's destined to do. That's where I come from. And it took me time to really make everybody understand that it's not that I was bad or she was bad, or there was something. But as you said it correctly, that it's actually about two people in the room. Nobody else would really come to know. Even if you have children, even children can't make out that what really happened.
Yep. So it's tough. It's tough, and I always say, even if your parents अपने बच्चों के लिए बहुत प्यार करते हैं, and they are there for them, but please understand, हम लोग जब टिप्पणी देते हैं लोगों की लाइफ पे, आप नहीं जानते हो कि जो आपका दोस्त है या आपकी दोस्त है, वो रूम के अंदर एज अ पार्टनर कैसे सफ़र कर रहे हैं, या कैसे अनहैप्पी हैं, या कैसे हैप्पी हैं, व्हाटएवर देयर इक्वेशन इज, यू विल नेवर एवर नो. ये तो मतलब सबके लिए ट्रू है, एवरी सिचुएशन. यू ऑल्सो हैड अ चाइल्ड, आप दोनों का एक बच्चा है, एंड how does that happen, and how old was the child when you parted ways?
So my son was in 9th standard that year when we decided. But we same time decided that we will not take anything legal against each other until our kid makes it to college. So once he finished his school, I received divorce papers from my in-laws side. And all I want to tell you is that I've seen my son becoming my friend in less than one day of speculation. The day my wife and my son left for her parents, next day my son comes to me and asks me, "Dad, what am I supposed to do?" I said, "The way I'm going to take care of my mother, I want you to take care of your mother, because it's just that so far we were your parents, but now I'm your father and she's your mother, and nobody can change that for rest of life." So my relationship with my son was very, very stereotype before. And now if I say, if anybody asks me who's my best friend,
It's your son.
Shaurya will be one of them,
Yeah.
because we talk. We not only talk, we share, we express, and I think we are empathetically available towards each other all the time.
Which is a blessing and is a rare.
Yeah. So my marriage would have costed me loneliness for some time, but it also costed me good bonding with my son. I think that was the accolade that I received.
Which I think is so nice. मतलब आप इतने प्यार से चीज़ समझा रहे हो, लेकिन feel it. I think it would have been very difficult. मतलब क्योंकि उस loneliness की हर बार जब हम इस couch पे बैठे हैं, और मुझे लगता है it's irrespective of the gender, but एक loneliness बड़ा slowly creep in कर जाती है life में. बिकॉज आपको एक तरह से जीने की आदत होती है, वही छूट जाए तो फिर आपको यू हैव टू फाइंड योर वे अगेन. एंड दिस इज समथिंग दैट ओनली पीपल हु आर टेकिंग दिस जर्नी वुड नो, कि वो लोनलीनेस सबके होते हुए, सब कुछ अच्छा होते हुए भी कहीं ना कहीं साथ में रहती है. यू मेंशन अबाउट डिप्रेशन. इससे पहले हम आगे बढ़े, सीधी आई वांटेड टू आस्क यू, क्योंकि आज मेंटल हेल्थ की बात भी हो रही है, सोर्सेज भी अवेलेबल है, रिसोर्सेज भी अवेलेबल है. बैक देन कुछ टाइम पहले अगर हम जाएँ, सोशल मीडिया भी नहीं था, इन सम वेज गुड इनफ, बट how did you deal with it? आपने बात करी किसी से, घर पे, बाहर? What was it like? Sleepless nights?
So a lot of anxiety. I was just not able to. How it started, that is very important. It was not the speculation that leaded me into trouble. It was the way things came, in front of me and in front of everyone. I was not given a chance to speak. I was not, I was just not given any, possibility of explaining myself. And that started mounting inside me big time.
Yeah.
It took a lot of time for me to, first of all, understand that I might have a medical condition, because in my time, there was nothing called depression. People would say, "Oh, I think probably your BP is low, or you got some other problem, or otherwise वो कोई देवीय शक्ति आपके ऊपर ना आ गई हो, ऐसी वैसी कोई बात हो." Since you are from Pahad, you can understand that. So,
Yes.
And the kind of upbringing I had, I've always been my best friend. During depression, it was bad thing, because you ultimately need somebody to talk to. But when I was spending time with my own self, I found out that okay, probably there is something wrong, and I started visiting people. I'm thankful to one of my clinical psychologists who really helped me out, Dr. Prerna Kohli. She made me understand where I belong to, where should I place myself.
Yeah.
And I think that it was really very, very important. I come from a creative background. I come from media industry, so I was able to devote a lot of time, in my work, and I think that made me come out of depression. When you are broken, when you're going through a wreckage, you either have a choice to take a bed and sleep the whole day, cry out, talk to people and say koi meri nahi sunta hai.
Yeah.
The second way of doing that is put your energies into work. You may be able to design something very bad, but at least you will be on your journey this way. That's what I
Absolutely.
felt.
Absolutely.
And some of my best work that I did in my career, I was able to do it during depression days.
It is not exaggeration. ये अतिशयोक्ति नहीं है when I say this, that all of us, CD, मैंने कल एक इंटरव्यू किया है. The lady on that couch said that the best work that I did was when I was struggling and when I was going through my divorce. कहती है, I worked so much. If I talk about myself, I think I won't say best, but I would say that I worked a lot. I worked so much when I was low. I was sleepless, तो मैं काम करती थी और मैं अच्छा काम करती थी. और मुझे आज भी उस दिन याद है किसी ने पूछा तो numbers in my radio show had gone up. So like what happened? तो मैंने कहा मैं बहुत struggle कर रही थी. And jokingly they said अब कब करेगी? मैंने कहा हाथ जोड़ के please अब मुझे दोबारा वो struggle नहीं देखना. But I know what you're saying. You put your energy at the right space at the right time maybe. वो negative भी हो सकती है नहीं तो.
And you know what? I learned everything. Like when I saw a movie called Slumdog Millionaire, it wasn't a shock to me, because if you ask me how the sofa is made, how the table is made, how this thing is made, anything, you talk to me about anything, and I've been through that process somehow or the other, because I come from a background where I've already worked for over 30 years. In 30 years, I've had chance to literally do everything, because in my time there were no mentors.
Yeah.
If there was a wedding mentor, probably my marriage would have been different. If there was a career mentor, my career would have been different. But whatever I learned it the hard way, and I'm glad that it happened, because I know a couple of my friends, my classmates, how they are and what I'm doing. So I literally had to pull myself out. I come from black and I had to travel towards white. It is that journey, that I'm talking.
That journey is tough. And this is what I meant. You know people, we've known each other, of course, मिलना हो या ना हो, but हम जानते हैं. But you really have to sit with people, hear them, and understand वो आइसबर्ग की तरह होते हैं. हम इतनी सी ज़िंदगी दिख रही होती है और नीचे इतनी बड़ी लाइफ होती है. और मैंने ये पॉडकास्ट शायद इसीलिए बनाया कि ये वो सेफ स्पेस है जहाँ अगर आप किसी से नहीं बात कर पा रहे अबाउट वॉट यू फीलिंग, यू माइट फाइंड योर सेल्फ इन दी स्टोरीज. बिकॉज मैं ये जानती हूँ कि एक दूसरे के किरदार में हम खुद को ढूंढ लेते हैं. लाइफ उतनी ही सिंपल है, ऑनेस्टली.
Is that when you talk about learnings in life, when you talk about how I leaded life during depression? So obviously, my own friendship with my own self was one thing. Having few good friends was another thing that really helped me a lot. And you also come in it. I remember it was a week before radio day once, and you were not able to reach your office, and you did your show sitting in the car, the brand new car that you bought that year.
Yeah.
These kind of small contributions which I picked up myself for me from my friends like you helped me a lot.
Thank you.
So this you can add in.
No, we will. मैं अपनी तारीफ बिल्कुल नहीं हटाऊंगी, सीडी. No matter how serious life is, listen, life gives us chances and it gives us those little moments. I mean, it's like friendships, support system that we always talk about. You don't have to meet everybody all the time. आप रोज नहीं मिल सकते हो, physically, mentally, emotionally possible नहीं है. But to have people जिनके बारे में आप सोच सको कि अच्छा, if I call, this person will take the call, or this person will be available if I am low. I think वो blessing है, और वो सबके पास होते हैं. हम बस उनको भी मौका नहीं देते कभी भी और खुद को भी.
Now things were again, in a situation where I found myself in the same, circus again. That
Yeah.
I'm the ringmaster, I'm the lion, and I'm the monkey, and I have to entertain everybody. And you need to stand up every day. You have your work, you have your mother, your father to look after, and your son in a way. And what can you do for yourself? And this challenge that became double in my life to really go any further also gave me enough opportunity, enough space to me to design a person to manifest a person in my life. That, okay, you know what? I want a person like this
Yeah.
because I am a person like this.
Yeah.
When I was in my manifestation, one fine day, the lady luck comes to me. And rest is the history. You know, the perfect picture for me today, there are two perfect pictures I have. My present wife looking after my son in whatever way possible.
Yeah.
When my son finished his school and college, he wanted to go abroad. And my present wife heard it. Before I could say anything, before I could do anything, she went ahead and did all the formalities for Canadian visa, ticket, everything, the admission fees, everything, whichever way it was possible. And second perfect picture is when I see my present wife and my daughter, which is 4 years, sleeping, and they are smiling.
Is there the right time to talk to your child? There are a lot of single parents who write to me and who watch it also. बाहर से भी लिखते हैं लोग. कोई time होता है, like how have you spoken to your son? मतलब do you address issues? Like even when you decided to marry, for example, आप आगे बढ़ने का जब decision लिया, how is it to communicate to your son everything that you're going through? Because आपकी खुद की भी एक life है at the end of the day.
If I ask you what was your age when you made your first friend,
My first friend,
general friend,
I think must be like 6.
in 6 years of age, you know who friend is, right? At least you are able to start designing that in your thoughts.
Yeah.
When we grow up, we obviously know that who are the people who are going to stay with us, who are not going to be with
Yeah.
us. Talking to children is essentially very, very important. The reason probably I was very tough-headed was because my parents could never speak to me. Yes, I'm little friendly to my mother till date, but my father was never. Probably he never received it from his father or his parents. With my son, my communication has been really, really good. मैं इतना करीब कभी नहीं आया अपने बच्चे के जितना करीब मैं डिवोर्स के बाद हुआ. Because now we know that even if we are talking for 15-20 minutes or he's coming over when he was here, that is the time that we need to be with each other no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah.
Due to my work, I would say that I am also responsible factor for my first marriage failure to an extent, because my work was very, very extensive. My work was very, very demanding. In media, you know how it is. And when you're traveling 30-40 kilometers every day, I saw my son growing like this.
Yeah.
And that's one biggest regret that I have for him.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that he not only respects me, but he spends good quality time. I heard him the other day talking about me to somebody and how proud he is. That is something that probably is the climax for such things.
And I wish that it is like that for everyone. मुझे लगता है जीने का और आगे बढ़ने का मौका सबको मिलना चाहिए. It's very simple, and we all fall and fail in different phases of life. किसी के लिए वो शादी हो सकती है, किसी के लिए वो करियर हो सकता है, किसी के लिए वो दोनों हो सकता है, but we all stand up again. Love happened again, and you mentioned about the lady luck, and you're blushing when we're talking, which I like. But I'm sure डर तो होगा ना, मतलब were there fears?
So when I met Diksha, I knew her, but we never looked at each other from that angle. She used to work with Taj, and I would call her indirectly because I was primarily known to her sister. So it was one of those random calls. So, and that went to my present wife's sister, and she invited me over. It was 8th March 2017 when I first time went to her place. Things started happening.
Yeah.
Now when I think of it, when you asked me that how love happened, naturally speaking, the impact of Diksha's aura to me was so much that made me make a call the next morning without even her consent. I was not even aware whether she's dating anybody or she's with somebody or not. What is the scenario? Whatever little I could sense, it was the intuition. It was the power of imagination. It was the love on
Yeah.
top of everything that
Yeah.
made me do that. It was one-sided. It is okay.
But
And-
these I will express. Yes.
And it wasn't that I was doing this in the market with everyone. No, nothing doing. It was not like that. As you know that I'm a very private person. I don't really talk much. But this thing blew me away, actually speaking. And when she came in life, I saw things transforming one after one. So you asked me one thing. I would like to tell you that we started dating, and one fine day we decided that okay, we should marry. She knew that I have a kid and everything was in front of her. The best part is that we are primarily first we are friend, then
Yeah.
we are somebody else.
Yeah.
So she said, okay, but I would like to speak to Shaurya first. I would like to take his consent. And as a result, she did that. And my son said, ma'am, I'll be happy for my father. At least, I would be able to see a smile on his face.
Yeah.
On that note, we married, each other, and
Yeah.
that's the history.
So life is like that. I think you have to trust moments. You have to trust जब universe कुछ plan करता है आप तक भेजता है. हम लोग डर के ना कई बार एक step पीछे ले लेते हैं instead of आगे. Give universe a chance. It keeps giving you chances. You should also give universe a chance. And now you have a beautiful daughter. The thing is that, and I'm sure as a parent you'll be able to tell this. How is it now balancing that? A daughter that young, a son who's like starting to work now. How difficult, kitna mushkil hai, kitna aasan hai emotionally as a father. We've heard mothers, we've also heard single parents, but as a dad, in terms of responsibilities, in terms of fears, in terms of how uski upbringing ho rahi hai aur iski ho rahi hai. So that balance dono ka.
So as I told you that the biggest regret for me was that I was not able to spend any quality time with Shaurya. And I'm doing it with Sitara because that's a kind of, payback for me. And my son understands it more than anything. And, he's one person who would take care of my daughter Sitara, in terms of ab usko kya gift chahiye hoga, based on her IQ, based on her age. He's the one who decides that, okay, I would like to send this one, or dad, why don't we, procure this thing for her? That is the kind of, involvement he has. And every time he calls, because he's in Toronto now, every time he would call, he would like to first speak to Sitara. So for me, picture perfect is my 24-year and my 4-year together.
Yeah.
And age doesn't matter when it comes to love, when it comes to respect. I don't think that age is just a number, actually.
No, it indeed is. To fall in love, to make friends, to have a tuning, to understand each other. वो दो लोग कोई भी हो सकते हैं. रिश्ता कोई भी हो सकता है. Age really does not matter. CD is like, डर बड़ी चीज़ों का होता है. Like if I ask you today, कोई डर है? You've seen a lot. You do a lot also in terms of work. But any fear that you think of?
I was very fearful throughout till 2020 because I was an atheist. The kind of wreckages and the kind of turbulence I come from in my family, I was made to believe that भगवान नहीं होता कुछ भी. I was made to believe that बस अपना काम करते रहो, पढ़ाई कर लो. That's life. डर बहुत था. डर इस कदर था कि आपको रात को नींद नहीं आती. In 2020, I was traveling to Ranikhet because हमारी daughter जो है 40 days की हो गई थी, and because of our NGO we had a all India access, so we thought कि बच्चों को सितारा को उसकी नाना नानी से मिलवा लेते हैं. So my wife is from Ranikhet and that's how we landed. And there I had my first spiritual experience, and that spirituality in due course of time made me fearless. The first change it brought in me was fearlessness.
Yeah.
अब मुझे इतना पता है कि मुझे काम करना है, अच्छा काम करना है. I need to think good, I need to feel good, and I know that God is with you and nothing can go wrong.
Yeah.
Nothing else. If I'm loving anybody, if I don't get that same love, it is okay. But I'm going to do my best. And I think that is the definition of life for me so far.
बट वो जो चीज़ है आई थिंक फियरलेसनेस वाली स्पिरिचुअलिटी शायद वो पहुंचने में मुझे भी टाइम है. यू वर्क अ लॉट इन टर्म्स ऑफ योर फिल्म मेकिंग ऑल्सो. आप स्पिरिचुअलिटी पे बहुत काम करते हो. फॉर लॉट ऑफ पीपल हु प्रॉब्ली वॉच दिस, व्हाट इफ यू कैन एक्सप्लेन व्हाट इज स्पिरिचुअलिटी, या अगर हम कहते हैं कि अच्छा हमें आस्था है या हमें फेथ है, क्या होता है?
What love does to you? Uh, it's a question to the audience also and to you also. Try to answer it yourself. Love means, what love does to you is it makes you feel special. It makes you feel elated. And that's the beginning of spirituality.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, it could be love to the friend, to family, to anybody, to a pet, to a stray. That's the first step towards spirituality. Spirituality is a feeling, is a reflection of your own strength and weaknesses that are 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times bigger than you. And that can make you climb the Mount Everest also, and it can make you do anything if you want, if you believe in it.
ये एनजीओ कैसे फॉर्म हुआ? इज इट ऑल्सो बिकॉज आई रिमेंबर इट्स अ कोविड बेबी इज व्हेन यू गॉट आउट ऑफ योर ऑफिसेज, यू स्टार्ट हेल्पिंग पीपल. क्यों? और डू यू ऑल्सो थिंक समवेयर हेल्पिंग अदर्स हेल्प यू?
Okay, so I go back to my childhood first.
या.
Two things. One, whenever I saw my grandfather having meal, he used to break a small piece, रोटी का एक छोटा टुकड़ा काट के एक छोटी सी वो थाली सी थी,
बुर्की
उसमें
बनाई.
उन्होंने बना दिया, उसमें उन्होंने सब चीज़ें डालनी
हाँ.
और खाना खाना. उसके बाद उन्होंने वो जो है चिड़ियों के लिए कहीं रख देते थे वो. So one thing that remained with me, it stayed with me forever. Secondly, जब उनका खाना ख़त्म हो जाता था तो एक थोड़ा सा जो नमक साइड में रखा हुआ होता था, उन्होंने जानबूझकर वो नमक से एक ऐसे चटकारा लेते थे.
हाँ.
So I asked him कि ये क्या होता है?
हाँ.
He said कभी भगवान ना करे कि कोई ऐसा टाइम आ जाए जब आपके पास खाने के लिए पैसे ना हो और नमक से रोटी खानी पड़े, तो आपको उसकी आदत बनी रहनी चाहिए. ये दो चीज़ें मेरे साथ रही लाइफ में. That made me a person who I became today. And I was of the philanthropic bent always, and I married the woman with the equal madness.
To help others. Yep.
So, March 29th, my wife was pregnant, Diksha, and we had appointment with the Holy Family Hospital, and I used to live in Faridabad at my mother's place. So I became friends with the commissioner of police that recently. I called him and requested him that in case if he could help me with the pass. He said, come and take it. So he invited me to take it from Parliament Street police station. Now, destiny, has a lot to play in everybody's life. When I received the passes, it said Charanjit, social worker, Diksha, social worker. आपको समझ नहीं आती एक बारी में, लेकिन ठीक है. We went to the hospital, वहाँ से अपॉइंटमेंट अटेंड करके हम लोग वापस आ रहे थे, and we saw these migrants walking.
Yeah, COVID times.
COVID time. And one of the lady in her mid-20s, amongst them, was bleeding red and walking helplessly. She was, you could see a long line of blood throughout. That was a life-changing moment for both of us. I remember we've been a traveler throughout, तो गाड़ी में कुछ ना कुछ कपड़े पड़े होते हैं, तो immediately Diksha helped that lady change. I had some 36,000 rupees in my pocket, and we placed an order with the nearest chemist for sanitary pads. Next day morning onwards, me and my pregnant wife, we both were out on Mathura Road distributing sanitary pads only to the women, girls. And we started telling this to friends. I remember reaching out to you also for that, and you featured us on your radio. From Mathura Road to NH8, NH8 to GT Karnal Road, that was the beginning of anything but. नाम क्या रखना है तो in 2016 I went to Canada, and I remember one beggar holding a placard said anything will do, and that remained.
कुछ भी चलेगा बेसिकली कि जो दे सको वो दो एंड एनीथिंग विल डू वर्क्स. रेडियो पे फीचर तो ठीक है, बट मुझे याद है कोविड के टाइम पे आई रीच आउट टू हिम, क्योंकि हम लोग को भी कांस्टेंट कॉल्स आ रहे थे. किसी एक फैमिली में कोई फंसा हुआ था, व्हेन दे नीडेड राशन, एंड आई रीच्ड आउट टू हिम. वो खाना पहुंचा था. और ये बहुत छोटी छोटी चीज़ें कहने को या सुनने को लगती है, बट इमेजिन आपका एक छोटा सा एक्शन किसी के घर या किसी की लाइफ में अगर इतना मैसिव इम्पैक्ट कर रहा हो, दैट उनका दिन कट रहा है या उनकी ज़िंदगी कट रही है, तो फिर वो छोटा एक्शन कैसे है. दिस इज़ व्हाट आई मेंट. हेल्पिंग अदर्स हेल्प्स यू. एट द एंड ऑफ द डे यू आर हैप्पियर बिकॉज यू आर हेल्पिंग अदर्स. और ये चीज़ मुझे लगता है लाइफ ही सिखाती है. मतलब एंड देन यू मीट अ पार्टनर लाइक दैट. हम लोग इवेंचुअली, वो कहते हैं ना, जिसे आप ढूंढ रहे हो वो आपको मिल ही जाता है. somebody who is like you. CD, today if you look back at your life, you know, the journey that you made in 20-30 years, how have you changed? Say 20 साल पहले वाले आप और आज आप जब खुद को देखते हो, what is the biggest change in you that you think has happened?
Mature मीटर मेरा बंद हो गया काम करना. मैंने सोच लिया दैट जब तक जिंदा हूँ तब तक बहुत यंग रहूँगा, दिमाग से, दिल से, अपने काम से. सबसे बड़ा चेंज जो मुझे अपने अंदर फील हुआ वो ये है कि इट मेड मी अ मैन ऑफ ऑनर. I can now say that because be it my responsibilities towards my mother, towards my family, towards my company, towards non-profit organization, anybody, I think I'm doing my best.
मैं हमेशा बोलती हूँ इस पॉडकास्ट का या हमारा इंटेंट कभी ये नहीं है कि आप शादी तोड़ दो. आई ऑलवेज से इतनी खूबसूरत चीज़ है शादी दैट प्लीज ट्राई टू सेव इट by talking. 19 years is a long time. I'm sure you tried your level best in your first marriage. Both of you must have. And then it wasn't meant to be. बट अगर कोई आपके आसपास है जो ना खुश है और नहीं हो पा रहा है, what should one person do?
Remember 4 things in life. Understand the problem. Analyze the problem.
Yeah.
Try to solve the problem. Leave the problem.
ये इतने बुलेट पॉइंट्स में आंसर्स अच्छे लगते हैं, बट दैट इज ट्रू. यू विल गेट योर सोल्यूशन एंड यू विल गेट व्हाट यू वांट टू हियर मे बी. And one solution is not for all. One size doesn't fit all. That is how this podcast is also. But CD, thank you. This conversation can go on, and I'm sure there is so much that मैं आपसे बात करना चाहूँगी जिसके बाद. But बहुत amazing है. You're a great father. You're a great friend, and I'm sure a very great husband as well. क्योंकि I've seen really beautiful posts, और ये husband wife दोनों मिलकर बहुत काम करते हैं. Thank you podcast पे आने के लिए. You have no idea. This has added so much to my series. तो उसके लिए शुक्रिया.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for watching this. Write in, share in, and I'm reading everything. So, जुड़ने के लिए बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया.